What's going on, everybody? It's Professor Shining Legend here, and today I am gonna do a deck profile for a deck that I put together, and it is in the name of SS4 Son Goku. It also has support from some of the Red Saiyan, Bardock's Crew, Bond 3 mechanic cards that came out in the latest set, Supreme Rivalry. And the leader that we utilize is this guy right here. He is Super Saiyan Son Goku, who really works well with this deck. he's awesome. He has the Awaken Surge mechanic, which allows you to take a red and a yellow card from your hand, put them under this card, and whenever you do that, you get to replace it by drawing 3 cards, so you got the +1 there, and you can restand an energy, which is really important for one of your turn 2 plays and combos if that's the route that you decide that you want to go with this deck. And then you obviously flip him over. When he flips over, he has been eroded, so he has the activate main battle once per turn. If your life is at 5 or less and you choose 1 card under this card and place it in its owner's drop area, you can choose one. You can choose all your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier and negate their skills for the duration of the turn, or you can give this card plus 10,000 power and critical for the duration of the turn. And as I said, you can no longer do that on your opponent's turn. It's been eroded and it is only on your turn. Still super strong just because of the draw power and the ability to restand the energy. And I find myself using the +10 and critical the most with that, unless I'm trying to get rid of something of theirs that has a blocker and I'm trying to push heavy aggro on my turn 2. So that's the leader I'm using, and let's go ahead and get into the deck. So for the first part of the deck, I really utilize the Bond 3 mechanic a lot, and I'll show you some of those cards. We got the Son Goku Legend Personified, who whenever he comes into play, you get to draw a card, and then he has an activate main Bond 3 once per turn ability, which if your opponent has 3 or more energy, this card gets plus 21,000 power until the start of your next phase. So nice turn 1 draw power play there, who gets stronger as the game goes on. Which does come into play with this deck a little bit later. I'll go ahead and explain how you can utilize this card to be able to do that, if that is the route that you decide to take. I generally do not take that route, but it's still super viable if you do decide to go that route. So we also have the Chain Attack Shugesh, who works off the Bond 3 Bardock's Crew Red Saiyan cards. He gets plus 10,000 in double strike as long as his Bond 3 ability is triggered. And then you got Chain Attack Borges, who is also some nice draw power for turn 1, and then he gets that plus 11,000 buff as well whenever you have Bond 3. But the real hero, the real amazing spotlight character for this right here is the Son Gohan Saiyan combo, because he gets played and he allows you to go get any of those as long as they're in the top 7 cards that you looked at whenever you played him. So you get to play one of those cards if he hits it, and once that Bond 3 mechanic is triggered, then he gets plus 10,000 and blocker. He has deflect, so he is a really solid card to bring in turn 2, which this is generally my turn 2 play unless I'm wanting to be super aggressive. I definitely enjoy this. So that's that for the first part of the deck. As I said, I'm leaving these to the side over here because we're going to show what you can do with them here in a little bit. But I also have another combo in here that utilizes the Whis and then the SS3 Goku One-Hit Wonder. You get plus 10 as a super combo, and it doesn't even have a cost, so that's nice. And then you can -10 one of your opponent's battle cards, which also, you know, if you're utilizing this strategy on their turn 1, most of the time they're utilizing cards that are draw power and or being able to search something, so they're really tiny dudes who you can just get rid of to make them lose some of their combo power. And then whenever this card's auto is when your opponent's battle card's power is decreased. If he isn't on the field or in play in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand, and then during your activate battle, you can pay 1 red and send this card from your drop area to your warp. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets negative 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So if this is in your drop area and you have one in your hand, you can send it to your warp, and then you can play this for free, and all while giving your dude -5. So nice little additional combo that just kind of plays with the red-yellow theme of the SS4 deck. So now we're going to go into the thick of the deck, which it requires this card, the Grand Tour Spaceship, which reads as activate main, look at up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, and choose one Son Goku GT, Trunks GT, Pan, or Giru with 15,000 or less power and play it, then shuffle your deck, which allows you to play either this, which not ideal, but like if you don't hit anything else, at least you get to play something, but allows you to hit this and this right here, which is what you want to hit, because if you hit this on turn 2 with the Grand Tour Spaceship, then you get to awaken on turn 2, and then whenever you awaken on turn 2, then you get to, well, it's not just necessarily turn 2, whenever you awaken with this card, you get to give it +10 and you get to draw a card, and then now since it's at 25,000, you're able to bring in a Heartfelt Plea, which has offering, which makes your opponent sack something from their life to their drop area, or you get to draw 2 cards. So with the awakening and you getting the 3 cards from your Son Goku, the 1 card from this Goku, and the possibility of getting 2 cards from offering, your hand starts to get pretty thick pretty quick on turn 2, which really helps in terms of like your combo power and being able to push through for that triple strike. So with that being said, you have restood an energy on your turn 2, and you also now have the ability to play your triple flash SS4 Son Goku for 1 energy and its EX Evolve, because it requires you to have a red Son Goku GT with 5 or more energy to be able to EX Evolve off of it. And then it has Deflect, Triple Strike, Auto. When you play this card, draw 2 cards. So now your hand is even larger than it originally was, and you can't activate EX Evolve for the duration of the turn. And it has a permanent, which also has been eroded, that if this card's power is 40,000 or more, your opponent may not activate counters during battles where this card is attacking. So that's super nice, because your combination attack Pan allows you to be able to be played for free, and it reads as if a Son Goku GT or Trunks GT with 25,000 or more power is in play in your battle area, you can play this card from your hand without paying its energy cost, and then activate main once per turn. Choose up to 1 Son Goku GT or Trunks GT in your battle area, and it gains plus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So you get to buff up your triple flash here to be able to allow his permanent to go into play. And another thing is, if you want to go wide and you kind of want to set up your board state with the Gohan and your Bond 3 cards first, to just, kind of be more cautious and defensive, see what their deck's about before you make any real plays of your own, then that helps you in that aspect. And then, so let's say, you had the ability to get out 2 Grand Tours. Let's say you did a Grand Tour, you hit this, and then on your on turn 3, because this has barrier, and let's say they didn't have anything to get around it, and then on your turn 3 you do another Grand Tour, and then you hit this will stay on the field because you don't have to dish it out for the Heartfelt Plea. You have to dish this one out, and now it has triple strike and it has plus 20,000 power for the turn on your turn 3. So I think that's a pretty viable option to be able to have, just because the Grand Tour hits it, which I really like. This card right here is super strong. I prefer to have one or two more of them. I never get mad at seeing this card in my hand. It's a nice board wipe, and it gets past some of your opponent's sticky stuff that has barrier by being able to play it for 2 from your hand. So also a very nice turn 2 card if that's what your match requires. This one, I feel like the more that I see it, the more I want to take it out, but at the same time, if the game ends up dragging a little bit longer and your main play and your main strategy is kind of out the window, you could pay 4 for this one, and then whenever it hits the field, it allows you to draw a card, restand an energy, and then give this card plus 5,000, which I like because you can play your triple flash off of it, and then it gets that plus 5,000 boost too, which will go onto your triple flash, just helping it get closer to that 40,000. And then I have After Image Technique, just a little counter to utilize, giving your stuff, you know, plus 40 and negating some of your other stuff, which allows you to play your one-hit wonder again, because you're decreasing your opponent's battle card's power. So I really like that. And then the Masked Saiyan Avenger from Another Dimension. This is just a buff. It's draw power and buff. It can be buffed up by your red Saiyan cards, and then it also can buff up your red Saiyan cards that have an energy cost of 3 or less. So being able to take all your small dudes and just make them stronger, I think that's super cool. But that is it for the main deck and what it entails. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. However, there are other cards that I put aside that I really enjoyed that I'm still contemplating on cycling into the deck or not. It's just, this is my side deck as well that I'll be kind of utilizing for the tournament. I gotta trim it down. But I also have Chain Attack Trunks, Intensifying Power Trunks, Pan, Heroine's Lineage, Raditz the Oppressor, Fearless Pan, and Strategies of Universe 7 that I'm going to be picking up before the tournament. The Strategies of Universe 7 are insane because it's a 0-drop field card that gives your red Saiyan cards barrier, so that helps your triple strike Heartfelt Plea or your triple flash to be able to stick going into your turn 3 if they don't have anything that can get past barrier, which is super nice. Fearless Pan allows you to be able to just stay aggressive and aggro I'm pretty sure it gives your stuff like double strike and a little buff like plus 5,000. Raditz the Oppressor is really solid because it forces it. You can use the Gohan, and the Gohan will land the Raditz, and the Raditz makes your opponent dish out some of their energy. And the other cards just have really good synergy with the rest of the deck. And the reason I put this to the side earlier was because you can also give this card the ability to get that plus 21,000, bringing it up to the 25,000, which Heartfelt Plea will be able to utilize this card to hit as well whenever you awaken. So that's why those are in there. Draw power, and it also, if you, as I said, go late game, the Heartfelt Plea lands off of it as well. The side deck that I have is still, as I said, being trimmed up here, but I have Meditation, which allows you to choose one of your battle cards for the turn. The chosen card gets plus 15,000 power, which will help out the triple flash. It can attack battle cards in active mode. It can't have its attacks negated, and it can't attack your opponent's leader cards. So it can also attack unison cards, which is awesome because if you have your triple strikes out and the Meditation, you know, it's not going to be able to be negated. It just, I mean, unless they have blocker, there's nothing really they can do because one, this says that it can't be negated, and two, your triple flash will also prevent them being able to counter anything that you might be able to do, and it just gets rid of some of those really tricky, sticky unison cards that some of your opponents bring out. Bardock, Pride of low class warrior. I had this in here just because the Gohan landed it, and I really wish that I could get the chain attack Bardock, but it's a $50 card, and I just don't have the ability to acquire it before the tournament, and I want 3 of them anyways. But I really liked this card less and less because 1, it makes you add a card from your life to get the buff, and then 2, it makes you basically land an attack and do damage to your opponent to be able to activate its ability, and they have to have, or you have to have 2 or more energy. So it seems very situational, and I don't know, anything that really requires you to lose your life with an aggro deck isn't smart, in my opinion, because you're not going to have a lot of defensive measures, and your main objective is to be fast aggro, and that's why I chose to take it out and just kind of keep it to the side for now. I don't think I will end up adding it back at all or even using it. I like this determined Super Saiyan Goku here because it has critical, and then whenever I'm at 4 or less life, I can increase the cost by 2, and as long as it's in my battle area. So that means Grand Tour can hit this card because it's at 15,000 or less, and then it can go ahead and EX evolve into the Triple Flash Goku because it will be a 5-drop whenever you have 4 or less life. So I need 1 or 2 more of those before the tournament happens, so I'm thinking about maybe putting these in a deck as well. Almighty Resistance, I love this card. This card is only in the side because it's more for a lot of the blue decks that have the negates and the ability to restand the energies and stuff, because if you do decide to go wide and with the Gohan and just setting up your board state before you awaken and you use your Grand Tour Spaceship, I think that's a super smart idea, because in the case that you're playing blue, if all you're able to get out is your Heartfelt Plea, and you're not able to get your counter off with your Triple Flash, then, or the permanent off to counter, or to prevent counters, excuse me, I'm so sorry, to prevent the counters, then this card allows you to do that, counter the counter, and then you can go in for your triple strike there and do some massive damage. The Beerus, I like Beerus. I love this card. This card is awesome. I wanted to sprinkle in a different mechanic in terms of arrival, just to be able to have the ability to do something whenever it allowed for it. I think that being able to utilize an ability at any given point during different interactions of the game is always important, but I always found that I was dishing it out for it to go to my Super Saiyan Son Goku as one of its requirements to awaken, or I would start the game with it if I saw it opening hand as an energy exhausted red-yellow source. So that's why I put him in the side deck, is because I don't see him being a very essential piece in the main deck. Android 17, I like this card because I have the 2-drop red unison card, and if I don't have anything else on my field because my opponent has board wiped me, then I can just bring him out for free, and he has blocker, and you also have the ability to switch the card to active mode if your power is being increased or decreased for the turn. Frieza's super dope. I love this card. I'm actually thinking about putting it into the main deck. This is the one that I feel the most comfortable with in adding it to the main deck. It has double strike, unique. It has an auto, you pay 2 red if your leader card is red and you have a red unison card with a specified cost of 2 in play. At the end of a battle in which you combo with this card from your hand, play this card. Auto, once per turn, when your opponent activates a counter skill, choose up to one of their battle cards ignoring barrier, and it gets negative 30,000 power for the turn. I like sprinkling in a little bit of a surprise. Frieza's going to be the surprise. It allows you to get rid of some of your opponent's tricky barrier cards, and it's 20,000, which is super solid. And you can play it for only 2. So I really like that ability, and it's an auto that is once per turn. So I definitely enjoy that aspect of it. Well guys, that was my deck profile, and I am really looking forward to this tournament. I'm super excited and thankful to be able to have the opportunity to play in this tournament and to play with this deck that I put together. And I want to thank the Dragon Ball Facebook community page. They have done a really awesome job at just giving me some ideas of what would be cool to incorporate into the deck and what would be helpful to getting it to where it is now. So I really appreciate that, and I want to thank my buddy Terry for also being a really good friend and getting me into the game and being able to play test endlessly with me through all the decks that he has. So go ahead and be sure to comment if you have any ideas. I will be sure to provide some more deck profiles in the near future. I have a Goku's Lineage deck that I am working on more and more. It's put together. It works really well. This one was the first one that I wanted to showcase. And then I have this blue Vegito deck that definitely is going to be super dope whenever it is able to take off and I have all the right cards for it. So stay tuned for that, guys. I hope you have a great day, and thanks.